Hello, everyone. Welcome to the after show for Crack in the World. If you've never seen an after show before, we usually put these up on Patreon. We have them for the end of our, every episode. We kind of sit together and we usually go over like stars and wishes or chat about the episode and the things that happened and our feelings. Or sometimes we talk about food. I don't know. It gets crazy sometimes. But we can't really do wishes anymore because, we don't have we're not. This is the final episode. But maybe we can talk about people's like stars, or if you have questions for each other, I'm definitely interested in hearing that. And I will grab any questions from chat as well. Anyone want to kick it off with something, a burning feeling that they have?
Oh my. How about the heavy cliffhanger of, oh, by the way, your idol is dead. And this red cap has thrown her right in front of you. And now you got to stew on that for like 10 minutes, man. It was good.
Yeah.
Good.
Did the red cap kill like LaFonda?
I had to kill somebody.
Yeah, the knife.
Well, and here's the dilemma that I had was who like who to make, who to make the victim, who to make the threat, like how to make the threat real, how to make Gork and like this final episode like a real threat, a real problem. And Snip didn't seem like, Snip was fun, but Snip was a snail, so I'm not sure that would have had the same weight. And we hadn't really met LaFonda or Poppy Joy. But we knew more about LaFonda because Tempo, you told like a little story all about about her. And I knew that if I killed Thumble, there would be a riot. So that was
a little one, just a tiny one.
Oh, that would have been
if Thumble was going to be in danger at some point, there had to be a chance to save her. Like I couldn't just to make Gork, to make it like this is a real problem. This is somebody that you really have to deal with. LaFonda just became the right one to go. And not that I didn't think any of you could have carried that, but given that Rhapsody had told a story about her already, and
failed her once.
I knew if I did this, I knew I'd Tempo. I knew you'd pay it off.
Like, it was good. It was very touching.
I failed her once already.
And make it big and painful.
I was definitely tearing up. It was a heavy.
The last dance kind of idea, and like the last performance, and the funniest part about it. Well, not the funniest part, but like I would say the part that made it like really nice, even though it was like a grim situation, was that Rhapsody got his final performance there. The final grand performance that he had always been kind of wishing for. And he also reunited her with the instrument that, he had not taken, not intentionally, but he wanted to reunite that instrument with her. And what better way, than to be able to play there and then have her come back to life, Maggie.
Sorry.
For that moment. Like that little bit right there was like the most satisfying thing for Rhapsody to do, and then come to that closure.
Margaret and I had a discussion before this week's episode about what we were going to do. Like she was Moonbeam was farthest down the corruption path. And it's like, okay, let's play this up. Let's show this off. Let's do something with that. So, yeah.
Whew, yeah. And it came out of.
I wasn't sure if you were going to allow me to do that because obviously it was a dead character. So I think our cameras are all lagging. I think Zoom's just lagging out on me. So I'm sorry to folks if our voices aren't matching our camera action.
Yeah.
But that's why I sent you a message and like, is it okay if I do this? Because I wasn't sure if in the rules it worked. And then outside of that, obviously, if everyone else was comfortable with it or not.
Well, my GM viewpoint on that was when a character asks, when a player asks, can I do this? It's usually because they have an idea for something really interesting they want to do. Yeah. So usually the answer is like, unless it's going to like blow something up or cross over a line or something for somebody, is to say yes. So I was like, I trust Maggie to like do something really fun with this.
Yeah.
And have it be heavy.
We
Yeah,
have a
and
lot of
emotional.
questions in chat too. Yep, you were telling me to kind of like ramp up the void stuff, and I was like, all right. But I also, on my front, wanted to make sure that like it still kind of felt like, yeah, maybe she's on our side, but also he was like, maybe make them think that you're not on their side. So I was trying to like teeter the line
Yeah,
of that, but also still playing, into the void.
of course. Oof, it was,
um,
yeah.
So we have a lot of questions, so we'll try to get through some of these. Retrograde Vector wants to know, what was everyone's main inspiration for their character? We already heard from Katie, but I'd like to hear what inspired the other players' character creation. And just to reiterate, Katie actually has Clowny Bear. Can we see
I
Clowny Bear
know.
again? He's
Bring
so
it back, bring it back, bring it back.
Clowny Bear is an actual stuffed animal of mine that I
Yep.
had from when I was a kid. And
So
I
cute.
love Clowny Bear with all my heart. So I'm glad Clowny didn't get corrupted in the game.
Me too. I was like, Clowny Bear needs to stay wholesome.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I feel like lighting a whole crate of stuffed animals on fire might have been the thing that set her off, but
It's traumatizing for not
What a-
only Clowny Bear, but also me.
Yeah.
Because I was that kid that was like, I always treated my stuffed animals with like the utmost respect, to be like, they might come alive at some point, but they're going to be my friends.
Yeah.
So, but I understand that when a crate of stuffed animals come alive and start attacking another stuffed animal, that would be actually very scary.
it is.
Because like they know my weak spots. So
Yeah.
they could
And
pull
I-
at the. We
and
never
I
fixed the
apologize.
string.
No.
And,
I
um,
apologize
Clowny
fully
Bear's
too, and I
stomach.
was like, "Oh no!" Like, oh, like turn away. I didn't want you to watch it.
I
and
like
was
how you turned Clowny Bear away. That was my favorite part.
and then
You're like,
did like this
don't
with the
look.
torch.
Don't look, Clowny Bear.
Oh,
It was great. Does anyone else want to share kind of the inspiration for your character?
Yeah, I could share mine. So Stray was a composite of a number of dog characters, from the skinny hound dog from the Muppets Musicians of Britain, Jim Varney voicing Slinky Dog from Toy Story. Um, there was a little bit of there was actually like a little bit of Gandalf the Grey in him because he was a paragon, so I wanted kind of an Aslan vibe. But I'm a dog person and a dog lover. I've raised and trained dogs my whole life. During this final episode, y'all didn't see in chat, but my dog just plopped his head on my lap. And having the opportunity to just play a good boy. Now, once he started to get corrupted, I changed the makeup and the outfit for the last two episodes to show more of the feral side, which I thought was kind of fun too. I do miss the tired eyes, little Stray, but him becoming kind of a wild, feral, beefy boy was also a lot of fun to play.
What about you, Tempo for Rhapsody?
oh man, it's kind of funny because it almost reminds me of myself in a way, where it's like, yes, we can heal the world with the power of music. But I wanted to actually have the beginning, because when Craig had first introduced the game, he had said that, there's this world and, you have these kind of great intentions, and there are, things that your character goes into it with, right? Like, we can heal the world with the power of music and it'll be great. But I wanted to also show that like music can do that on the opposite spectrum of things as well, right? So it's not only about healing the world with it in a way, or showing the positive side of it, but it also can evoke these other emotions, and it almost defines the whole spectrum of emotion when it comes down to music, right? Because like you make music when you're happy, it makes you happy when you listen to it. But you listen to music when we're sad, and then it evokes certain other emotions too. Which is why in the this last episode, where it's like you're gonna feel what I feel, and it wasn't about healing the world with music. It was about the fact that it can kind of at least bring that dark side out too, where it's like, I just had this horrible experience where the person who got me into this is now, lifeless over here, and you're going to feel that, and I'm going to, give it to you in the form of music as well. So for me, it's more so about that wide spectrum of it. And I was hoping that it would get to that point where I could show both sides, where I got corrupted and would be able to use music in both ways, where we're having a good time rocking with our rock boy, and then to the point where it's like, yeah, I'm sad and I want you to feel that too. You know what I mean? And then understand where I'm coming from without even saying anything. So I had a you know, probably a personal attachment to Rhapsody. I would say it's not far from who I am as a person. It's just, you know, less horns and you know, less meaty gaunts, whatever they are.
On my front for Moonbeam,
Gams.
I've played a lot of good bean characters, and I was like, I really want to play just a character that's a little more chaotic,
Yeah.
that teeters the line, and also somebody who isn't maybe as so active, because I'm usually like the one that's figuring out everything. Someone who just kind of like lets everyone else figure out the problems, and then she just kind of like chills back. Also, I thought it would be fun to play a character like that in Reverie specifically, because I'm a kind of character that's easier for the Void to tempt. And I haven't ever played that side of it as much. I think last time I actually played a fawn, and she was a very good bean. So it was like I was trying really hard not to get corrupted in that campaign. Whereas this, I was like, bring it. Let's take it. So I think it's kind of fun to play a character that is just, you know, crazy, a little loose and wild on that front. And then the voice I was really inspired by like Moaning Myrtle vibes. Kind of like that drawn, like high pitched sound.
Yep. Like,
A little nasally. Yeah. Our next question here is more for Craig, since there was one for all of us, one for you. Do you think it's possible to have this utilize the system for a really like long campaign with deeper lore and exploration?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the one of the things that we talked about very briefly kind of early on was the game has what I refer to as an intensity dial in it, which is you've got this skill track, the spirit track, and the shadow track, and they are checkboxes, and they can be as few as 5, as many as 10. And technically you could go higher or lower if you want, but I just like on the character sheets, you know, there's 10 possible. And we played with 5 checkboxes for each of those, so that when you filled up skill, you progressed faster. When you filled up spirit, you couldn't save too much spirit. You were encouraged to kind of use it, and you filled up your shadow track faster, and characters fell to the void faster. You know, in a longer campaign, you could just leave all those checkboxes, leave all those tracks out at 10. And it would take a lot longer for characters to fall to the void, longer for them to progress. So you could play a much longer campaign. I mean, I think you could probably reasonably play a campaign if you're playing like 3 or 4 hour sessions and you're not doing a ton of trait checks. You could play a campaign that's like 20 to 30 sessions before you start dropping characters to the void. And what's wrong with that? Like, you can have characters fall to the void and have other characters then go and find ways to redeem them. And you can have characters that come and go in the group too. You could definitely play a long campaign. In the book itself, there's, how many did I have? 12, 14, 16, something like that. 2-page adventure outlines. And then there's 3-part trilogies that each adventure has a 2-page outline. So there's, you know, just that alone, you could run a campaign that, you know, runs you 30 sessions if you use all those pieces in just different orders, and including an adventure outline that's designed as an end game.
Nice. And of course, like, I'd love to see an adventure with Stray putting together like a group where he goes and like investigates, like, private investigator.
One of those adventures is described in a way that, like, this could be a way for you to find a person, to bring somebody back from the dead, or to return somebody from the void. Like, yeah, there's an inspiration for that. You could do that a lot of different ways, just whatever kind of
I would
makes
love to
sense
see
for
that.
your
And then
version of Reverie.
Also have times where like Stray's like, I know the right person for this like one part of the quest, where he has to like bring in Rhapsody or bring in Clowny Bear. Like, that would be really cool. I think that'd be neat.
It could be
The
like
world
a heist.
gets built.
It'd be like a heist movie. We're gonna heist your soul. We got to get the gang back together one more time.
Yeah.
Yep.
To go find the moonbeam. To go find the real moonbeam.
Be cool.
Where she's lost.
Even the ending, right? Like, we talked about that, did we not? Like, it might not be like this. Oh, yes, happy ending. Everyone's happy at the end, but it's like, it's almost bittersweet, because like, I never would have expected Rhapsody's adventure to, or at least his journey, to end here. But then I thought about it. I'm like, that is literally what brings him the most happiness, right? And he's with the person that he was trying to return this instrument to. And here he is performing and helping people the same way that he's believed his whole life, like what the power of music can do. And he can do it from here. So I did not expect that, Craig, but I was like, you know what? I feel like Rhapsody would love that, just to be able to at least perform, even if it is for eternity or just a period of time that helps heal this world. So
yeah, I don't know what the epilogue to your character really looks like. I don't know for sure how long it would take for the world to fight back completely with your character's guidance, but I would imagine that and it sounds like Rhapsody's willing to do it for as long as necessary. That Rhapsody might be in that cave for
that could just be his
a year, 2 years.
Yeah.
Kind of like, well,
and by the time he comes out, he'll be changed. Like he'll be just like he may not feel like he fits into the world anymore. This could be the Frodo ending.
Yeah.
Where like Rhapsody does the great thing, but then comes out and is so changed by what he's gone through that he doesn't feel like he's part of the world anymore. Who knows?
Right. Yep.
Write that short story. Let's see.
I know.
What's Rhapsody like pick up from the moment that Rhapsody exits the cave.
Right. And it's like, okay.
And we tell the story of what happened inside the cave in flashbacks, and we find out what he's like.
And so many different things that would happen, right? Like, because that's a lot. There's a lot of people in Reverie, right, that need that kind of healing. And if he feels like he's fulfilling some kind of a purpose like that, of course he misses his friends, but at the end of the day, this is like what it is that he wanted to do at his core, almost. So yeah, I like that. I really, really like that.
What about you, Katie and Grant? Any things you want to talk about, kind of like for the endings for Clowny Bear and Stray?
Yeah, what's the epilogue?
I'm glad Clowny Bear got to find Thumble, and now she's got another little girl that she gets to spend time with. So it's honestly, it's like it's never going to be perfect because like there's never always like a perfect happy ending, but she got pretty close to a happy ending for what she was hoping to have. So she got to be with her person and find out that she wasn't abandoned and that she was still very much loved. So I think that was an important moment for her to be like, I get to go home with Thumble. So, and then I get a new little girl to play with. So that makes her very happy. Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining like Clowny Bear going on like the same adventures as she went on with Thumble, but now with like another new little girl. And then like with like Thumble kind of like watching in the background. So
yeah.
cute.
I feel like too, for her sake, she'd probably still try to look for corruption to fight as well. Like while being with her person and stuff, being like, we got to make this world better and keep the fight going for something that is always like ever creeping. Like never let your guard down. It always might seep in somewhere because it happened to one of my friends. So
yeah.
By day, Clowny Bear is like sitting in like a dollhouse playing and doing tea, and then by night, fighting crime.
Yep.
Like puts on the battle suit. Yeah.
Yep. Shifts her weight. You know what I mean? Like flex.
Flex. Yeah.
Batman with hugs.
yes, that's how she fights crime, with hugs.
With hugs.
And love and rainbows.
It's the most swole hugs ever. What about Stray, Grant?
What I like about Stray and the epilogue for Stray is one of the few characters that is essentially, an eternal shepherd, an immortal spirit, if you will. Mm-hmm. And his initial goal was to be a shepherd of lost souls, essentially. Those that get lost, help find their way back. So I like the idea that he has all the time in the world, so to speak, to go after Moonbeam. And I thought about it because initially, I was thinking of how it plays out. I was like, well, Moonbeam's going to go corrupt all in, and then Stray would probably just like hang around on the outskirts, like that dog or like a stray cat that almost just like hangs around because it's like, we miss Moonbeam. I don't know if I can get her back. Never actually there, but just kind of follow because it's like, Stray would miss his people. Then I was like, or he can just become a bounty hunter, and which is more fun. It's fun to have like a little PvP duel, and lean a little more into. I thought particularly since this is a show with an audience, it's like crank the drama dials up a little bit, make a mess, have a scuffle, and then in the epilogue be like, all right, she better not ever sleep because I'll be there.
It amplifies their beef with the Void too, though, like a bit.
Yeah.
Right? Like where it's like, oh man,
True.
as a paragon like that, that's a pretty big responsibility, man. Is it not?
That it is, and it's kind of a fun one. I like. It's almost like a angelic guardian character, right? I love those type of characters, and I didn't get to use Stray's comeback from the dead ability, but there is sort of a Aslan on the stone table, or Gandalf being sent back by the Valar. It's kind of like, hey, there's a chance that he could come back, which is perfectly okay. I liked that everyone got to use all their abilities, and it was a big mess, and it was happy and sad, and then everyone got a unique ending. Like, that's
that
kind of cool.
Yeah, I think some people were asking like, did I want like my character to get corrupted? And I think out of all the characters here, Grant and I were like, yes, take us to the void, Craig. And I think Tempo, you said you wanted to be tempted by it, but have the opportunity to come back from it. So that was kind of the whole thing with me, kind of taking over your like.
Yeah,
LaFonda and being like,
that was nuts.
Come with me,
I'm not gonna lie, Maggie. I was just like, man, because this is like a really big temptation here, right? And I'd seen it happen before. And I think as far as being like almost inspired by Clowny Bear when she had like the crying baby and is like, but we have this thing to do. You know what I mean? And right now, I need to do this. You know what I mean? These are the people that I've been with for so long. And I'm going to come back. But it might not be as happy for me coming back to, her. It's not as happy as I would say, right? For Rhapsody, in the sense of the audience perceiving like the closure of, yes, you're with your person, but me being with my person is a little bit more almost grim, but Rhapsody is still like looking on that side of, yeah, look, no, this is great. Like, what are you guys talking about? Because he has been corrupted a little bit too. And it's more so like, don't even worry about it. I'm doing what I want. It's the greatest performance of all time. And that is the last thing that I said as I had left her to go and approach the shackle. So, oof, yeah, it got real, man. I'm not going to lie. It was good.
Yeah. The, what I wanted for Stray was to go right up to the edge of corruption, then not go. But I liked leaning into it. I was like, I don't want Stray to become a Void Scion, but I want him to be like right there. Because I was actually right behind Maggie like the entire time, just getting shadow, getting corruption.
I mean, I tried to help
always
you.
1 or 2 ahead.
Give you a little rage.
Oh, that was so much fun. I almost ate a dead body. It's like Clowny Bear, turn away.
Yeah, I mean, trusting
feel like
like,
that was so good.
investigating.
I feel like, we turned Clowny Bear away. We did not want Clowny Bear to get corrupted.
Poor Clowny Bear. We're like, just look that way while we eat this body. Look that way while we burn the rest of these stuffed animals.
Yeah, like,
And
the first couple episodes.
that was the moment when I knew I could just throw LaFonda's body out on the floor.
Yes.
Oh, when
Like, okay,
Stray
like,
eating a dead body?
Like when everybody was like, like when nobody really objected to it getting kind of dark there right at the beginning, I was like, okay, fine. Now, that means I can go dark here. And that was what, like, none of you knew this, but Margaret and I were having a DM conversation about how dark she could go.
Yeah.
And I was telling her stuff like, I trust you, go for it. Like, let's just go. We know where our lines and veils are.
Right.
Just like take it wherever we're going to take it. We're going to let the story get a little dark.
But I also didn't want to like take away everyone else's ability to kind of do what they wanted to do for their characters.
No, but it didn't. I think it was good. It added like more depth to it too, like in a little bit more layers.
You used your judgment and it fit well.
Yeah,
but I didn't want to put a restriction on it.
Yeah.
I didn't want the corruption for Clowny Bear. If I was playing any other character, I'd be like, bring it on. But I think because I was like, this is a stuffed animal that has become sentient. I can't imagine. It would have been interesting to play though, just because it would have been that creepy doll. Like, it's fine. You could just
use that knife or something on it.
Yeah.
You know,
But
like that.
You could have started doing all the descriptions of, you know, the like any horror movie that is about dolls or marionettes or whatever, where like the thing just sits there and then it
Just looks at you.
Yeah.
like
No,
its
thank
head
you.
just pivots
That creepy
perfectly.
smile. Yep.
Yeah, just all that, like, you know, holds perfectly still, but one limb or just the head moves.
Something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was nervous to play a stuffed animal in anything that's a tabletop, just because when I saw the animate thing, I was like, I can do anything. And the obvious thing would to become something that could help in a fight or, you know, and I was just like, no, I want to be this stuffed animal. So I'm glad that I didn't just like get sliced up with a sword in the first episode. So yeah, I wanted Clowny Bear
That was
to
good
be
creativity. Like,
I
when
don't know.
I thought of Animate, like if I were to like start it off like that, since I didn't have the same like kind of connection right there, I would have been like, yes, I'm an animated, you know, like discus here that like, you know, flies and beheads the you know, like no, but it's more so like I am actually a stuffed bear. And the picture that it shows right here is like an armor, you know, like you're thinking animate armor, something that like awakens in Dark Souls and tries to kill you.
Yeah.
No, I'm a teddy bear that is adorable. And I want to heal the world with the power of hugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it makes sense in the sense that you brought your own emotions from your experiences with your stuffed animal to how Clowny Bear interacts with the rest of the world. And that was what was really cool about it to
Yeah,
me.
it made it so precious. I'm just like, and I love sometimes we're like in really grim like situations and just this like adorable bear sound, voice comes in. It's like, yeah, let's murder them. I just love the idea of it. It's just like killing. It's like hard to not laugh when you're like, okay, this is super grim,
But
it's a tiny teddy bear being like, yeah.
it adds it, yeah.
I would
It's
actually
really-
be really curious. I mean, you kind of mentioned what you would do, Tempo, but what everybody would have chosen if they did an animate, because that's such an interesting concept to me. Like you can
Right.
make anything come
It
to
could be
life. What would
anything
it
come to
be?
life. Yeah.
Ooh.
And like,
would-
yeah, I mean, even in character creation, right? Like, how do you? And the fact that like it spoke to you. It literally spoke to you. You know, not to.
I saw the playbook and I was like,
Whew.
I mean, I thought, oh gosh, a woodkin would have been fun too. And that
Mhm.
was one of my other choices.
Yeah.
Or it's rockkin, right? That's the stone.
Stonekin.
So the
Stonekin.
stonekin. Yeah.
So those two spoke to me. I'm like, that would be fun to play like a tree. That
Yeah.
sounds so cool.
We had
But I
one
also-
in our
yeah.
last campaign that we did for Good Strong Hands.
I'll have to watch it. I want to
Yeah.
see. I want to see what it's like playing a
The
character
tree
like
and the
that.
fawn had a relationship, so it was really cute. Yeah.
Aw.
Ooh.
Woo.
It was precious.
Yeah.
It's very different, but I think, you know, still that wholesome, grim fantasy.
Mhm.
What about you, Grant? If you could pick an inanimate object, what would it be that you would animate?
Okay. I would probably. I was thinking about, in fact, that's what I was originally going to do. I like the idea of playing like an Iron Giant type character, but I would probably be something ridiculous, like I would be a broom. And I would just be sweeping around. And I'd probably be Sweep instead of Stray, and I'd have little arms, and I'd just be like, "Hi, everybody, I'm here to clean up the problems of Reverie." And like it just, yeah, it would probably get old. I love the idea of like playing something like a teapot, like Mrs. Potts from Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast.
I think I
yeah.
do a very good teapot. So
I do a very good teapot. Well, now you have to give us a teapot. What do you mean you do
Yeah.
a very good teapot? What
you
does that
talking
mean?
about? Huh?
gotta save it for the next show.
Oh,
You can't just do it at the
okay.
drop of a hat. But I make a
Right?
good teapot as a character. I think characterizing a helpful, posh, beverage-filled item that has come to life. Yeah.
That's great. I think
Love it.
for me, it would be fun to play either maybe a book or
Ooh.
because I think you could be full, you could like go the really knowledge, like bookwormy vibe with that. Or like depending on what type of book you are, you could just only say what things are on your pages or something fun. Almost like a Kenku, but like you have to use the words that are in your book. Like I think that'd be fun.
Huh.
Or a light, like some kind of light form, like whether it's a lamp or like a candelabra or something like that, I think would be really neat. Just because you could do a lot of I don't
That
know.
would have been
it just-
helpful in the cave.
Yeah.
Very helpful in the cave. Yeah. You know?
It'd be easy for your companions to carry you around or something.
Yeah.
Or talking sword or something like that. Like an animated sword would be fun, like some kind of weapon.
I'd love to be a singing harp too. Just a golden
Ooh.
singing harp.
Ooh, I like
I would
that.
have one of my
How
beautiful
about a
long
pacifist
blonde
weapon?
wigs.
Like a pacifist weapon, like, right? Like, you're like this gigantic great axe, right? That's just like, you know what?
Aw.
Like, what
Let's
if
talk about it.
I would love
I
to
am
be
Harvey Great Axe.
I would love to be a weapon, but like one of the other characters wields me. And then I just like but I'm sentient. Like I think that would be
yeah,
really
you're like, no. Maybe we should, no, we shouldn't, no. Oh, I did that.
That feels really gross when you slam me into him. Stop it.
Well, right. You play the animated weapon, and then somebody else wields you, so they use you as their action when they're fighting, and then you take the made of magic talent so that you've got magics, and so when your turn comes around, you're just doing magic stuff.
Yeah.
Like you're doing everything. Like you're like, you burst into flames, or manipulate someone's emotions, or whatever magics you choose.
Yeah.
Your emotions, like how you feel
still-
after you
so
slice
you
through
still have
something,
plenty
like,
of things to
no,
do.
what have I done? I
Or you
burst
can
into
talk
flames, but it does
smack.
more.
I just
That
love
did
the
the-
idea of a super sassy weapon that just is like always either talking smack to the wielder or like to enemies. Like it's fun.
Yeah, you could go any direction with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a game session, in a stream back during the Kickstarter, I played like a suit of armor, like a chain coat, who was made of magic, and so I mostly did magic stuff. But then I could wrap myself around one of the other characters if I was sized, appropriately, and so protect them. But then also, use magic and whatnot.
Oh. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, it's like literally anything. Like if it's an inanimate object, you can do it.
Retrograde is asking, does Clowny Bear count as a household item or a clockwork being? I think a household item, right? Because you're not
That's
clockwork.
what I put.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just assumed like, well, she's a stuffed animal. Because there's a couple options you could choose from. Let me pull up her sheet really quick.
And I am curious what you guys would pick. Katie asked that in the Twitch chat, but also if you're on our YouTube video, leave us a comment down below of what animate object you would play as well, because I'm definitely curious.
Yes.
I could have been an armor shield, a weapon, household item, or a clockwork being. And I was like, clearly Clowny. I mean, I wanted the other options because I'm like, those would probably be more helpful. But I was like, Clowny Bear's just a stuffed animal. So like, she's got to just be a household item. So
And it works.
that's what she was.
I loved when Clowny Bear just like busted out of the rope and got all swole.
That's because you incited me with
Flaming
rage,
hands.
though. So that actually worked well. Gave
The
her
one-
some spice.
Hell yeah.
The one time Clowny Bear is like, I'm going to instill fear in you instead of just
Yeah, instead of
Happiness.
that was big. That was pretty big too.
Yeah, because I would normally, I had finally got Dazzling Dance. And I was like, I think in my head, I was like, she'd only ever use it to make people happy. But
Right.
because I was incited with rage, I was like, she's going to make Gork afraid. Also, Gork got destroyed
poor
by
Gork.
us.
oh, poor Gork. And then I shoved a
You did shove a torch down.
torch in
her-
his mouth.
I was an accomplice.
Awful.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You're awful. Also, it's my fault. It's not their fault. But I do
They
love
could've-
that like I made you
The
guys
shift.
go like enraged and then you guys just you went there. I love that you all just
I
jumped
felt it.
into
Yeah, I was like, that's like what we needed to. In order for that to be like something that actually happened, it's like that corruption of one that can influence others that are around them, right? So it's like, even though we might not be as corrupted as Moonbeam, you see that and you're like, yeah, we have gone through some things here, and I just watched, this love of mine slash, my paragon almost, where it's just like, yo, no, you're gonna feel what I feel. Like I was almost tempted to take my ukulele and light it on fire and stick it down her throat too, but I didn't. No,
It could have got there.
it was too late. No, because it was too late.
Yeah, I know.
If there was
No,
one
I'm
more
saying
round, it might
could
have
have got
happened.
there. I could have enraged you if Stray would
Yeah.
have given me the next turn, but he was like it's like maybe I give it to Rhapsody that one other round.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it was yeah.
I was envisioning the
moment.
scene where everybody had like blue glowing eyes, and it was just like, yes, come to the dark side.
Come to the dark side. But that's the point that we were at, though, right? Where very tense.
Oh my
like,
gosh, a vacuum cleaner sucking up evil. That's pretty great. Oh my
and
gosh.
to think the animate and the paragon animal were the last two playbooks that I developed very late in the game. They weren't part of the game. They almost weren't. Like I
Wow.
decided, I've got like 10 playbooks. That's plenty. And
Well, I'm glad you did.
I said, screw it. I'll do 2 more.
We wouldn't have Stray or Clowny Bear, and I love them.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Well, I do want to wrap it up. I think we went for longer. We got caught up
It's
in
good,
talking. Does anyone else have any like final things they want to share with peeps?
Aside from me being sad that this is going to be ending, I do believe that this was quite the experience and quite the adventure, like from where we first started, from the merriment machine, and it's like, yay. And the world, is not as pretty as you think it is, and there are corruptions out there that try to tempt you, and showing that even the heroes can be tempted by them. And then of course the relationships that we've built even in 4 episodes was so cool.
Sorry, I kept biting your legs, Tim.
You know what? I was gonna let it go until you mentioned it again, but you know what?
Maggie, I'm sorry I tried to throw you into the fires of Mount Doom.
No, it's fine.
Clowny Bear, I'm sorry that I was going to eat that dead body.
Yeah. I was gonna ask
I
Clowny
didn't
Bear.
see it, so I didn't think you did anything wrong.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It's a sin of omission.
Can I get my string back though, Clowny Bear? Like that would be something, right? Like I'm over here with this 2-string ukulele.
I feel like my brain goes, we get back home. Thumble goes, we have to fix that, and then I would save that string and visit you one day and bring it back.
Hey,
Clowny Bear's too wholesome.
I would bring like a picnic with me, and we would just catch up, and I would help you so you could get a little break.
Yep.
Oh
and
my
here's the
God.
peanut butter, here's the jelly, here's the bread, and here's your string. Like,
Yeah.
thank you, Clowny Bear. Yes. Yeah.
All right.
So good.
Anything else from anyone else before we wrap up?
No,
It
thank
was
you
a
again,
joy.
everybody. This was
Craig.
this was one of the most emotionally satisfying little campaigns I've
Big ups
been
to
involved
Craig.
in. It was a lot of fun. It was really good. I came out with many feelings after every episode.
Mhm.
Aw.
You killed it though, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you def killed it. It was awesome. Like, you know what I mean? Like to be able to like put that
I
out
tried
there.
hard. But
You did a great
I went off of your cues a lot. Like
Exactly.
my outlines are like a whole bunch of things,
Uh-huh.
and then I used like 2 of them because like there would be things that happened in the moment that we just like, okay, well we'll just let that play longer.
Yeah.
Because
It's the best way to
you know,
GM, in my
all of
opinion.
you
I think so.
you left you just took it in a direction, or somebody suggested something that became a thing later that I turned into a scene.
Right.
So
Perfect. Well, thank you all for
Good stuff.
tuning in to A Crack in the World. And that is going to be the end of this chapter for us. But perhaps we will see some of these characters in the future, or perhaps not. But we hope that you enjoyed it. Definitely leave us some of those comments below. And of course, if you're watching us live here at Twitch, we really appreciate you hanging out with us for a little longer. And of course, getting a feel of kind of what our after shows are like. But we will see you on the flip side, because next week we will be having a new after show for a new show where they will be playing vampire agents. I don't know. Night's Black agents. It's going to be interesting. Definitely want to tune into that one. And the cast
I'll
is
be
pretty
playing
amazing.
something.
Grant will be there, so you'll get to see Grant's lovely face once again, along with Distracted Elf, Werewolf Feels, Blythe Kayla, and KP11 Studios. And of course, tomorrow we also have our the Last Ditch episode, and on Thursday we have Ascension, and all of our shows start 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. BST. See ya.